A quick update on the Big Brother 26 live feeds that have been quite fun to watch so far. I must say I am enjoying this season a hell of a lot more than the last two seasons. Even though last season's the first weeks of the season was pretty entertaining. I think this one is better just because I feel like the cast is better overall. Where there was some winners to watch on last year's cast, I think this cast has a lot more people kind of doing their own thing with their own personalities. And to me, that's a great thing. I'm going to start talking about the Have Not Room becoming a official alliance. Well, official alliance. That being Tucker, Cam, Chemo, and Quinn. And the funny thing about this to me, with these four becoming an official alliance, is that days ago, in one of Angela's many paranoid spirals, delusional spirals, she was so convinced that that room was already working together. And while they already had some good one-on-one connections in that room, there was not no official alliance. And I kind of feel like Angela manifested this happening with her paranoia. And if all of these paranoid scenarios that are going through Angela's head, if more start to come true because she's manifesting it, we're in trouble. I mean, it's going to be fun to watch, but we're in trouble because she has so much going on up there. And now she's manifesting things happening. Yikes. But the foursome is an interesting foursome. I think that Chemo's definitely the worst player of those four, which maybe I'll get into. But I find that Quinn is obviously good socially. Like I said in last night's video, I don't like that he's telling everyone, well, not everyone, but he's already told two people that we know of that he has one of the powers. Cam is good. Cam has all the potential to go very far. If Quinn is the always typed nerd archetype that the show likes to cast, then this is the first time since Xavier that we have this sort of typecast with Cam. The more under the radar, calm, no drama black guy who is good at the game. Xavier was very good at always staying away from the drama. Sometimes to the point that it made the feeds boring. He was always trying to put out fires. I don't think Cam's going to be doing all of that. I hope not anyway. But he has the quiet, logical game that won Xavier the game. And I feel like, much like Xavier, Cam has the potential to really turn it up in some future competitions. Now, the competitions this season have been more equitable between men and women, thankfully. Like I said in one of the past videos, it feels like CBS really got in the producers' butts because the changes they made have been what the fans have been asking for a long time. Either production was finally in trouble with CBS or the ratings have been in trouble with CBS because the changes that they finally made, we've all been saying for so long. The cast is good. The competitions are a lot better. More women are finally winning competitions again. We have all men on the block for once, 3 of them and not just 2. And they are trying to do away with the whole unanimous votes with this twist, at least for the beginning of the season, where you kind of don't know who's really going to be at the block at the end of the night come Thursday's eviction. Those kind of changes. I also feel like the episodes have been slightly edited better. I mean, we really only had 1 episode so far from feeds. So will that trend continue? I have my doubts, but we will see. Right now, so far so good though with this season, and also so far so good with Tucker's game, although he loves drama. So I don't know, I get Tucker. I feel like Tucker, I have a lot in common with Tucker. I love to hate and I love messiness, and Tucker seems to as well. So I think he is also a big part of that 4-person all guy have not alliance, because he was really the person kind of getting Angela to really focus for once and finally make a decision on the Matt Renom. And I got to give Tucker a lot of credit for that. I already have in my last couple videos. So yeah, and then there's Chemo in that foursome. I do feel like he's the weakest player of that foursome. We have a lot of people with bad communication in this house. Angela with her paranoia, it's hard for people to connect with her on a game level because she's been all over the place. Matt always talking at people. It has made him have a lot of enemies in the house, even though his ego is blinding him to see that. Chemo is just very awkward to me socially. Well, I don't know if he's awkward socially, but it's more like I don't understand his game sense. I don't understand who he wants to work with, if anyone. He has this connection with the core, but it's very much just personal. He does not share game information with her, even though I feel like that would probably be his most loyal ally if he would start doing that. He has Quinn give him information about the power, so I feel like that is the reason why he trusts Quinn so much right now. But Quinn's going around making all of these other connections that Chemo's not making. Chemo does not seem very close to Cam in that alliance. And while Tucker and Chemo have gotten a lot closer over the past couple days, Tucker too has stronger connections outside of this alliance. So I just feel like Chemo is not playing a very good game socially. And for someone that's supposed to be a super fan, and for someone that seemed like he had a big personality coming into the house, he's very subdued, and I don't understand his game right now. I think he is sucking, personally. I understand why he was an easy person to put on the block as a pawn, because he is not good at connecting on a game level at all. And I even don't know if he's connecting great. Like, he tries to connect on personal level, and I think that is working, but clearly it's not translating to game connections outside of Quinn. Who else to talk about? I kind of want to talk about some of the other people I don't talk about enough because it's been so dominated by Angela and Matt, although there is some Tucker and Angela drama to get to. Rupina, she's doing a great job staying under the radar as well. I feel like she has that connection to Tucker. Some people want to be a showman, so we'll see. I think Rupina is good at telling people what they want to hear, which is always a good thing in this game. Outside of that, I mean, she has little connections here and there. There's all these fake alliances going on that right now it's hard to tell which is which. So I think Rupina's in a great spot, though, because she is so under the radar compared to a lot of these folks. Leah, her social game, I like it, but I also don't see it translating. It's similar to Chemo. She's way better socially than Chemo, but also not great at making those connections become game connections yet. She's good at flirting. That's her whole game. People make comparisons to America last season. That remains to be seen. America was another one that flirted a lot, but never was able to turn those into true solid game connections and moves outside of with Corey. And in doing so, always drug Corey's game down because of that. I can see Leah doing something similar to that, which isn't a great thing. Hopefully she'll be able to do more game connections going forward. People love her, but that's not translating into game connections. And when I say people love her, I mean people in the house do love her. Not just fans outside of the house that seem to love her. I don't know if I love her yet. That remains to be seen. There is also Kenny still not really playing. We'll get to the vote here in a second. Let's first talk about Chemo and Quinn and Tucker talking to Angela late last night. Chemo and Quinn ended up kind of staying the night in the HOH room with Angela. And I don't know if that's a great look for Chemo, who's on the block, but he decided to do that anyway because Angela won't get to vote unless there's a tie. Quinn is keeping Angela close, I think, because Quinn stupidly told her that he has the power. And that's the thing that confused me about their entire conversation last night, is that Angela knows that Quinn has the power. And she hasn't forgotten that. But she's still trying to connect it that Lisa has the power. But that would be impossible because Quinn and Lisa moved in on the same night. So I'm lost on this disconnect that Angela thinks both Lisa and Quinn have the power if there's only two powers, but that's impossible. And yet she's still running with that. And it's still causing her a lot of paranoia. Yeah, I just don't get that. Chemo also knows about the power, so they were kind of talking in circles about Lisa having the power. And Quinn's, I guess Quinn didn't want to come out and say that he told both of them he has the power to show that he's connected to both of them. So that was kind of a mess. And Angela just remains a mess, of course. This morning, just right before I recorded this, Tucker and Angela had a conversation. And Tucker is getting a little wild there too. Tucker's starting to think that MJ is starting to crush on him instead of Matt, which I guess might be an ego thing from Tucker. I don't know why he feels that way. But in Tucker's mind, he wants to create some mess today by telling MJ and Matt that they know Lisa has the power and they want to call that out publicly, which is going to make Lisa spiral if that happens. And as we've established, Tucker already hates Lisa because she's so annoying about cooking in the kitchen, annoying about sprinkling her glitter on food. Last night, the have-nots finally got to eat with the have-not week being over, and she's sprinkling her stupid glitter on their food, which I know had to have Tucker seething. So if Tucker does that at some point today or tomorrow, that's going to be mess. So we'll see what happens there. But the other mess comes from after that conversation where Angela is talking to the feeds, the cameras, and by herself and saying that she's starting to feel some kind of way about Tucker and that she's expendable to Tucker. How she morphed that into her mind when Tucker is coming to her with more information is crazy. She makes no sense. Tucker is like the only person since she had to make renoms that has tried to work with her. And it's kind of going back to Angela's not going to be able, nobody's going to be able to work with Angela. And Angela's not going to be able to work with anyone because she's so paranoid about every single person in the house that even if you try to play with her, she thinks the worst of you. So she feels like she's in with the guys' alliance that she manifested happen in her mind somehow. Scary thought once again. But she also feels like she's expendable to them. So that's going to be a new mess to watch as well. Is who's going to keep trying to work with Angela and how is that going to make her spiral about them? Like she genuinely sometimes spirals more about the people trying to work with her than are against her. It's crazy. As for the vote, it's looking like if Chemo and Kenny stay on the block together, Kenny should be leaving because she's basically given up playing, like I stated last night, a waste of a spot in the house. He's definitely the worst casting decision this season because everyone else is bringing something to the table except for this ex-undercover cop who has certainly been a flop thus far. I don't even think at this point, if he starts playing, he could gather the numbers to stay in the house because we're a week in, he's been on the block for days now and wants to give up because he feels bad for a guy half his age. Stupid. Hate Kenny, honestly. If it's Kenny and Matt on the block, that's where it gets interesting because I think if Matt and Chemo are on the block, Matt goes home. Matt and Kenny is where the numbers are gonna fall maybe wonky, only because Kenny has given up basically and isn't playing at this point. Maybe he'll finally turn that around and start. I think there's a large contingent that wants Matt gone. Matt is very good. Well, it's hard to say he's good at it, but it sometimes works. It works on people like Lisa. As I stated yesterday, he was talking at Lisa. She threatened him about her name being in his mouth. But after that conversation, where Matt once again is trying to say he has a bunch of people in his pocket, Lisa kind of seems to believe that. And even Cora at one point seemed to believe that after their conversation. Because Matt's going around telling so many people he has people in his pocket, they tend to believe him at times. And it's good that they go around talking to other people and kind of change each other's minds. Chelsea being a good mind changer with Decor about the Matt situation. I think Chelsea, we're a weekend, and Chelsea has been the biggest voice of reason in that entire house to a lot of different people. She has her head in this game, and I am enjoying watching her play. Because in a house where there's a lot of craziness going on, I'm glad we at least have one person who is just really in tune with what's happening in the game and understands that a lot of people are playing dumb right now. And that's Chelsea. I like the Chelsea and Takor thing. You know, two black women working together in this house in the past is hard because people automatically see that as a threat, which is always unfair, but that's the way the social game has been played before. So I hope those two continue to work together. They're going to have to continue to do it the way they're doing it now, which is not seem like they're that close. Because I feel like Chelsea tries to work really close with Cam and Cedric, which is working as well. They're kind of like siblings. But with Chelsea and Cedric, it's starting to be hard for Chelsea to like get Cedric to think logically. As I stated last night, Cedric's been doing a little too much, and I think Chelsea sees that as a lot of the dumb playing that's happening this week. Whereas Takor has kind of been more playing socially than actually strategic. But I think with Takor finally learning that she was almost a renom option as a pawn, it's kind of woken her up to start talking more game with people, thankfully. And I'm glad that's happening. And I hope Chelsea and Takor continue to work close but seem not so close apart, because I have enjoyed watching Chelsea and Takor talk about the game together, because Chelsea is so in tune with the game that she knows what needs to happen, but Takor has some really good reads, because I do feel like she's gotten to know people. She's definitely been pushing the fact that either Leah or MJ have the other power, which is right, MJ does have the power, while so many other people are so lost in the sauce about Lisa having the power, even though some people know that's impossible because Quinn has the power. Just make it make sense. Anyway, I must go for now. I got some traveling to do. I don't know if I will be able to update again before Thursday night's eviction. So I just hope we see some mess over the past 2 days, even if I won't get to cover it closely, unfortunately.